Dan Aziz, coming out of Cool Box Gym, future of the light heavyweight division. Big up, sporting icon. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow.
Okay, so after watching Tommy Fury beat Jordan Grant on points tonight, now I think I understand why John Fury was a little bit upset with the training that's been going on over there in America with Tyson. Tommy Fury, of course, has been spending time with his brother Tyson for quite a few weeks over there in America and only came back about a week or so ago. And just based on the fact that Tommy only fought, 3 months ago? He weighed 10 pounds heavier for this fight than what he did only 3 months ago. Secondly, Tommy's performance was very, very flat. Especially in the first round where Tommy got hit with some pretty big shots, let's be honest. But ultimately, we can't critique Tommy too much on this one. This is only his 6th professional fight. Yes, he was taking a guy who was 2-0. He was 2-0 for a good reason. But ultimately, Tommy did look very, very flat. His defense was all over the place. His jab was okay. Wasn't nothing brilliant. In fact, his whole performance tonight wasn't that good. And it's only a 4-round fight. So now I think I understand why John was having a go about Tyson and the training out there, based on when Tommy came back on the pads, he could see something was off, something was different. So what is it that they've been doing out there? I know that they've been doing some road work. We know that they have been in the gym, but quite how much have they really been dedicating themselves? Now, Tommy, he could look at it and say, but I'm only going to do a 4-rounder, and I'm definitely going to win this next fight. So probably didn't even try too much in training. John is a bit of a stickler for training. If he tells you, you turn up at 9 a.m, you be there at 9 a.m. If you're supposed to do your runs at 7 p.m. for a 6-mile run, 10-mile run, whatever it may be, he expects you to do that. And I've got a feeling that he saw Tommy being a little bit flat. Now, whether Tommy's only doing 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, makes no difference. You need a bit of a camp. What you don't do is go on your jolly holidays, come back, then train for a week, and then have a fight. That's not how you do it. John will know from experience, that's not how you do it. John done it himself. I think that John, he could have possibly had a better professional career himself had he dedicated himself a little bit more. Now, when it comes to Tommy, I think unfairly people are comparing him to Tyson. I think a lot of people who do that probably don't really remember Tyson Fury too much when Tyson Fury was only 5 fights deep. Tyson weren't that good. Tyson was not a naturally gifted athlete. He's not a naturally gifted boxer. He learned how to do what he does. He learned that from originally, of course, being part of the GB setup. Then we turned pro with Rob McCracken. Then, of course, with his dad, John, with his uncle Huey. Then, of course, later with Uncle Peter. Then, of course, bits and bobs with Ben Davison and, of course, Sugar Hill. So he's learned how to do what he does. Tommy is still on the novice tracks. Okay, he's still riding that bike with the stabilizers. He's still doing that. He's only had, 10 amateur fights? And he's only had 5 professional fights. So I think people who are criticising Tommy's opponents, I think, if I'm being brutally honest, I think you've been a little bit unfair. And again, I will say, though, that Tommy, he needs to decide, are you going to be a light heavyweight or are you going to be a cruiserweight? Weighing in on the scales at 189 is no good, young man. It's no good whatsoever. You make a decision. If you're going to be a light heavyweight going forward, make the light heavyweight limit. If you're going to be a cruiserweight, then you need to put on the weight in a proper way and make the cruiserweight. So you're only, if you're going to be a cruiserweight, which is 200 pounds, then you stand on the scales at around about 190 something. That's what you do. What you don't do is weigh what you do so you're the smaller guy on the night. You don't do that going forward, okay? Anyway, that is what it is. So his performance tonight I thought was very flat. He won the fight quite convincingly. I have no grievances about the result whatsoever. I suppose the real kind of critique that I could possibly really pull out was after the fight, with the fact that Steve Bunce, why are you rimming the Fury so much? Why do you rim them so much? Why are you, every time that John is on the microphone, you're kissing his ass? John quite openly says he doesn't like kiss asses. Why is it that when Tommy come onto the mic, and you've done it before, you said to him that in round number 2, he was boxing and using his jab like a seasoned professional? Stop overreacting, Steve. You're such a rimmer. It's almost like he's scared. I don't know what that is. But his performance, in my opinion, was very flat. Is that because he hasn't been training properly? Maybe. Maybe he's been having a jolly good time with Tyson over there in America. Maybe, just maybe, Jordan Grant is a little bit better than people thought he was going to be. There's a possibility. There's so many different ways of looking at it. But in my opinion, his performance was very flat. And I don't expect him... Again, whoever it is that he fights next, let's not expect the stars here, okay? I think all this Jake Paul stuff needs to just pack it in now. Okay, it's old now. I don't want to see the fight with Jake Paul. I'm not interested in the Jake Paul fight. And I will say this, though. If they did fight based on this performance, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Paul caught him and knocked him out. I wouldn't be surprised. And I think that if John was going to be brutally honest as well, I don't think that he would be too surprised either. He's a very honest man, John. And he was having a go at Tommy in between the rounds as well. Because Tommy was very, very flat. He really was. It's almost like he hadn't fought for a couple of years. Very, very strange. But either way, you know what? He gets to win. And it is what it is. But hopefully now he stops messing about. Stop it with this whole Jake Paul talk, okay? No one cares about it like they seem to think that they do. People just don't really care about it, okay? Concentrate on your own boxing career. I think people need to stop comparing him to Tyson. Okay? He's going to come along at his own pace. Don't expect nothing from him until he gets to about 15 to 20 fights. I'll say it's about most fighters, especially when they have limited to no amateur experience. He only had, was it 10 amateur fights? I think that we do need to give him a bit of a break, give him a bit more time. And even if people don't, Tommy and John and the team need to. Okay, don't listen to what the fans are talking about, okay? Because we just want to see them step up, okay? If we believe that they're going to be the real deal, then we're not going to wait around, okay? But ultimately, they need to guide his career in the correct way. And for me, I have no problem with his opponents. I would like him to fight a little bit better for sure. And if he was going to end up fighting Marcellus Wilder on July 24th, I'd be quite happy to see that one. But either way, right now, his performance tonight, he does go 6-0. He does win on points. Didn't do that great. I think he does need to look in that mirror and say, do you really need this? Do you want to do this? If you do, then live that life, man. Live the life. Don't live the life that Tyson Fury's doing. Tyson Fury's already been and done what it is that Tommy's doing. Okay, so Tyson is doing his own thing. Tommy needs to do his own thing. Okay, not following the footsteps of Tyson. Okay, anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the very next video.